Hi, today's video is about protein, especially the protein needs of athletes. I made a protein video a few months ago, but I wanted to make a better one. The other one was talking about the science behind it and how we only need about 5% of our calories coming from protein, and that all plant foods have all the essential amino acids and we don't need to combine plant foods. But sometimes that still doesn't convince people because it's so ingrained in our society that we need a lot of protein either for bodybuilding or for good athletic performance. So I'm going to be reading out an article called Slaying the Protein Myth by Rich Roll. Rich Roll is an ultra-endurance athlete and I think he says it the best. You can check out the full article on the Forks Over Knives website. You could also check out his website because I'm sure the article is on his website as well. And another thing before I start is to download the Rich Roll app if you haven't already. If you've got iOS, his podcasts are for free on that app. So I like to listen to his podcast when I go for walks or when I'm doing some chores. It's good to just increase in your knowledge, and he interviews some really interesting people like T. Colin Campbell, durian rider, Dr. Michael Klepper, and his own wife, so check that out. Rich Roll says, I am plant-based. Essentially, this means I don't eat anything with a face or a mother. Animals find this agreeable. I'm also an ultra-endurance athlete. Essentially, this means I don't go all that fast, but I can go all day. My wife finds this agreeable. Conventional wisdom is that vegan and athlete simply don't get along. Let's call it irreconcilable differences. I'm here to say that is utter nonsense. But where do you get your protein? I welcome the question. If someone is asking, I presume a genuine interest. Simply an opportunity for a productive dialogue. So let's try to have that dialogue. We live in a society in which we have been willfully misled to believe that meat and dairy products are the sole source of dietary protein worthy of merit. Whether you are a professional athlete or a couch potato, this hardened notion is so deeply ingrained in our collective belief system. But through direct experience, I have come to believe that this pervasive notion is at best misleading, if not altogether utterly false. The animal protein push is not only based on lies, it's killing us, luring us to feast on a rotunda of factory-farmed, hormone and pesticide-laden, low-fiber foods, extremely high in saturated fat. Eating this way, I remain convinced, is indeed a contributing factor to our epidemic of heart disease and many other lifestyle-induced infirmities that have rendered our nation one of the sickest societies on earth. Indeed, protein is an essential nutrient, absolutely critical, not just in building and repairing muscle tissue, but in the maintenance of a wide array of important bodily functions. But does it matter if our protein comes from plants rather than animals? And how much do we actually need? Proteins consist of 20 different amino acids, 11 of which can be synthesized naturally by our bodies. The remaining 9, what we call essential amino acids, must be ingested from the foods we eat. So technically, our bodies require certain amino acids, not protein per se. But these 9 essential amino acids are hardly the exclusive domain of the animal kingdom. In fact, they're originally synthesized by plants and are found in meat and dairy products only because these animals have eaten plants. Despite the butter is back hysteria that recently graced the cover of Time magazine, the best medical science establishes beyond reproach that both casein and whey contribute materially to degenerative disease. A family of proteins found in milk, casein, has been linked to the onset of a variety of diseases, including cancer. And whey is nothing more than a highly processed, low-grade discard of cheese production. On a personal anecdotal level, adopting a plant-based lifestyle 8 years ago repaired my health wholesale and revitalized my middle-aged self to re-engage fitness in a new way. The truth is that my athletic accomplishments were achieved not in spite of my dietary shift, but rather as a direct result of adopting this new way of eating and living. I'm not alone in this belief. Just ask Oakland Raiders defensive tackle David Carter. Watch this video of strongman Patrick Baboumian breaking a world record for the most weight carried by a human being when he hauled over 1,200 pounds, roughly the weight of a smart car, 10 meters across a stage in Toronto last year. Witness two-time world champion free runner and parkour artist Timothy Sheath hopscotching off rooftops like a video game character. And be amazed by this video of plant-based strength athlete freak of nature Frank Medrano doing things with his body you didn't think possible. Then there are MMA, UFC fighters like Mac Danzig, Jake Shields, and James Wilkes. And multi-sport athletes like Brendan Brazier, Rip Esselstyn, and Ben Bostrom, a world-renowned motorcycle, mountain bike, and road bike athlete. The point is this: each of these athletes and countless others will all tell you the same thing. Rather than steak, milk, eggs, and whey supplements, opt instead to eat lower on the food chain and source your protein needs from healthy plant-based sources like black, kidney, pinto, and other beans. Even eating less concentrated sources of protein like potatoes, sweet potatoes, and bananas will get you exactly where you need to be. If you ate nothing but a variety of fresh fruit, you would still never suffer a deficiency of protein or even any particular amino acid. Short of starving yourself, it's almost impossible. Despite this incredibly heavy tax I impose on my body, training at times upward of 25 hours per week for ultra endurance events, this type of regimen has fueled me for years without any issues with respect to building lean muscle mass. In reality, I believe that eating plant-based has significantly enhanced my ability to expedite physiological recovery between workouts. In fact, I can honestly say that at age 47, I am fitter than I have ever been, even when I was a world-class level competition swimmer at Stanford in the late 1980s. And yet, most people, the overwhelming majority of whom are predominantly sedentary, generally consume upwards of 3 times the amount of daily protein required to thrive. The protein craze isn't just an unwarranted, overhyped red herring, it's harmful. Not only is there evidence that excess protein intake is often stored in fat cells, it contributes to the onset of a variety of diseases such as osteoporosis, cancer, impaired kidney function, and heart disease. Still not convinced? Consider this: some of the fiercest animals in the world, the elephant, rhino, hippo, and gorilla, are plant-powered herbivores, and nobody asks them where they get their protein. So ditch that steak and join me for a bowl of quinoa and lentils. I hope you enjoyed that article, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!